I fucking hate holidays. As many of you know, I did a fat fast last week, and to kind of bring you up to speed in case you haven't been reading my blog on ScottTheTruckDriver.com, links in the description and shit. I only went 6 days. I ended it at the 6-day mark on the evening, Saturday evening, because I didn't really want to. My mother's birthday is the 24th, and then Christmas the 25th, which means 2 big fucking meals for those 2 days. And, and I kind of didn't want to be in breaking a fast mode per se. I could have easily done the 7 days if not for those factors. So I didn't break it because, of any, feeling like shit or any of that. I didn't feel like shit. I felt fine. The weight loss was down to phenomenal fucking lows. I mean, 10 pounds in 6 days, that's water fasting levels, as far as if you did a water fast for the same amount of time with a lot less hunger, no drops in metabolism to the point of feeling cold all the time, no real dips in energy. I was able to perform well. No dips in cognition. My brain was on point. There was even a day where I experienced the kind of euphoric feeling that you get on a longer fast. So, the energy was good. Everything was good. I was happy with the fast. But as I said before, the, weight regain period is going to be the ultimate judge on the success and or failure of that fast. Sorry, I forgot to silence my cell phone because I'm an asshole. Needless to say, I've regained most of the fasting weight back, and I can attribute this to more than one factor. Not the least of which is, first of all, I did not break the keto diet per se, as in the types of foods I were eating were all ketogenic in nature. However, when it comes to keto fucking cheesecake and keto pumpkin pie and my addiction to artificial sweeteners, which those are laced with rather heavily, I ate the shit out of both of those things. With the keto pumpkin pie on Sunday, I pretty much consumed the entire pie on Sunday, thereby considering that the average piece of keto pumpkin pie has about 5 net grams of carbs per serving, 12 to 6, this was probably more on the 12 serving, it was pretty thin thickness pie, so I would guesstimate, about 60 to 70 grams of carbs over the course of the day. So I clearly bounced out of ketosis. I had to have. And that can also be consistent with the fact that I became thirsty, almost cottonmouth level thirsty, needing to drink a lot of extra water while not pissing much in the process. So I was holding on to a lot of water weight. We also had prime rib, which is very calorically dense. And I ate a couple of those, a couple of big, good cuts of that, buttered spinach and salad. And that's it. And some shrimp. I had shrimp as an appetizer, too. No sauces of any kind, nothing spectacular there. I used melted butter for a lot of my sauces, so to speak. I do that a lot on salads lately, too. It's awesome. I spice the butter with some of the Montreal seasoning too quite regularly and enjoy it that way. It's like a dressing made from butter, pretty much. So I overate that. And then, to make things worse, my mother, who's on this baking kick, baked the shit out of a fucking keto fucking cheesecake with blueberry sauce. The blueberry sauce sweetened with stevia erythritol. I tried to explain to her that, the method of boiling the blueberries to bring the sugar out of the blueberries into the sauce makes them a bit more potent. And I was careful to only have one small spoonful on each slice of cheesecake. And then after a while, I just stopped putting it on because I knew that I would really be fucking screwing the pooch if I used that blueberry sauce. I mean, her heart was in the right place, but I know what happens when you take the fiber away from the sugar and fruit, aka fruit juice, and that is precisely what happens when you prepare a blueberry sauce in that way. I mean, she thought that she could replace the sugar with the stevia erythritol like she had in the other two baked goods, but bottom line is berries do contain fructose and glucose, pretty much intermixed with the fiber, which makes them low glycemic because of the fiber. But once you drain a huge, I think it was a cup and a half of blueberries of their sugar, it pretty much concentrates it. And if you pour that all over your shit, you're looking at, spiking your sugar and fucking with your liver a little bit. But leaving that aside, keto cheesecake is fucking calorically dense, and I didn't eat all of that in one day. In fact, I just ate the last piece yesterday of it, but I did eat almost half of it that day. Once again, I believe it's a little more, like 6 grams of carbs, net carbs per serving, and I think there was 14 or 16 servings, something like that. They divide it up more because it's more calorically dense. So I easily fucking broke my carb limit of 50 that day as well. And of course, the symptoms that followed were typical of a carb up when you're fat adapted. You feel like shit, your energy tanks, you gain weight, as I gained, I think it was within the first day of refeeding, I gained 4 pounds, and then altogether I've regained most of it back. I still am at a net loss, of 2 pounds lost from the fast that have not been regained. I just took a big old dump, so I don't anticipate that going up. I'm pretty much not eating keto processed foods or keto junk foods like the cheesecake and that kind of stuff for a while. I'm taking a break from that. I don't, and this is why I contend you can't eat these foods. These are every bit as much of junk food as a piece of cake was back when you were a carb burner. So it's important to recognize the role in keto desserts and these very keto simulated foods. You're essentially, although you're doing it yourself in most cases, you're essentially processing a food at that point. And that can allow you to eat way more of it than you could in its native form, which would lead to overdoing it on carbs, or even just calorically, driving up from protein and carbs your intake. And protein was also overconsumed on these 2 days. So those are the factors that I believe led to regaining most of the weight. It wasn't that my metabolism dropped. It was that I just plain fucking overate. I was not hungry. I was, enough to eat this much. It was purely pleasure. It was purely dopamine-driven behavior. I could have easily not eaten those things. But it was a holiday. I, kind of have a rough time emotionally around this time of year. I have for a long time. And, this year sucks just as bad, if not more so, than some of my previous holidays. It's my own making. I don't blame anyone for this. My choices have led me to where I'm at. So it's not like I'm sitting here crying, saying, hey, look, yeah, life sucks and blaming somebody or something else. I own the fact that I am where I am today by the choices I've made in the past and things that, you know, I wish I could take back or I wish I could have fixed or done differently. And so I'm not exactly a big fucking ray of sunshine on a cloudy fucking day today. Or pretty much for the whole week, now that I think about it. So, you know, making this video was even just kind of a pain in the ass because I'm kind of not feeling myself right now. I'm not feeling, you know, happy as shit or anything. But I do know I got to do my job. And so here I am filming a fucking video. You know, a lot of YouTubers do take this week off. I don't feel right doing that because you guys are very supportive. You guys are helping me out quite a bit. Plus, I recently had time off in November, and I still got a lot of work I'm trying to get done for that video, which, you know, I'm surprised you guys aren't fucking there with some pitchforks and torches and shit ready to fucking take me to fuck out because I haven't fucking delivered on that video. It's a pain in the ass editing that video. I'm still working on pictures from that shoot too, which is, you know, for a side note, when you're gonna deliver 800 pictures, you gotta expect some fucking time to edit that shit because wow, it has been a little overwhelming. And I have another shoot coming up this weekend. In addition to that, I pulled my back out 2 days ago, so I'm fucking in pain. I haven't been sleeping well. My eyes are all bloodshot. I feel, you know, meh. And that probably doesn't help things much in the weight regain department as well, because sleep is a requirement, good sleep, for, you know, not plateauing. You know, if you don't get enough sleep, your body's going to hold on to shit a lot more than if you get plenty of normal rest. So rather than making you all fucking depressed about it, I just want to let you guys know where I'm at with that, because I get a lot of questions on, you know, looking forward to the progress report of that. This morning I was 191 point something. I don't know. Look at it in my blog. I don't memorize that shit. And 36 inches. I do memorize that because it doesn't move much. So I'm still at my goal as far as belly measurement, and so I'm, you know, nothing to be upset about there. But I do know I'm not alone today. I know there are many of you who are depressed, upset. You had your cheat day over the weekend, or maybe you just said fuck it for the entire week and you're in the middle of that right now. Some of you are going through the standard American diet weight regain, which can be in the course of a week up to, you know, 15, 20 pounds, depending on your metabolism and your damage and your age. And there's a lot of factors in that. And I know that one of the things that puts you at risk for is giving up. And, you know, life isn't fucking always going to be roses. You know, there's not always going to be a bunch of unicorn shit and rainbows on your fucking lawn. Sometimes they're going to take a big old steaming pile of shit on your lawn, and you're going to have to go out there and clean that shit up. I have no idea what the deal was with that. That was just a completely random metaphor and shit. Well, that being said, it is important, as I've said repeatedly, and I kind of want to reiterate in this fucking video, to get back on the horse. I am pressing on with this experiment, hoping that I don't gain more than I started with the fat fast. I'm feeling like it's starting to creep back down, which is a good sign that metabolism is ramping up to compensate for the fact that I did overeat the past few days. Yesterday I wound it down a bit, but I still had some of that cheesecake in the mix. I was more careful to not exceed my carbs. So I do believe I'm going back to trend back downward. We still got, you know, about 3 or 4 more days. I'm not going to do the next fat fast until New Year's Day. So it's important to get back on the horse. I'm continuing with this experiment. I wanted to do a fat fast followed by no fasting, ketogenic, eat when you're hungry eating. And I am doing that, you know, and I'm finding I'm slipping back into the routine of essentially anywhere from a 16 to 20 hour daily fast with keto meals and snacks for the rest of the evening, probably within a 6-7 hour eating window. And And of course, fat in my coffee as always. And I find no reason to discontinue that, knowing that it really doesn't move the needle in terms of fasting. So it kind of fits in with shorter fasts that I could do that. It might slow, how much of my ass I burn, but as far as the benefits of those fasts and the lack of insulin, meaning I have full access to my fat when I'm not burning that fat, that's kind of important to me. I would like to arrive and stay at the 182 that I hit during that fat fast. I knew it wasn't going to last. I know I have to carry around food weight, more water weight, more sodium electrolytes are going to cause some water retention. And I'm pretty liberal with salt in my foods, and to make sure that I have a good supply of electrolytes in case I sweat, in case I got to do something very physical. It's important. And I'm getting back on the horse knowing that I've fallen off the horse plenty of times in the past 3 years. And the only reason I'm sitting here today, hovering near the normal BMI mark with my belly in a normal fucking range with measurement and my weight, better than I was in my 20s. I'm only sitting here because each time I fell off the horse, and the only reason I'm able to teach you guys the things I've done is I kept doing them. Even when I fell off the wagon, even when, that one time when I regained up to 215 pounds and realized I was fucking up because I was trying to go back to all the addictive foods, this fucking sugar, the standard American diet. And since I've left that behind and am focusing on either being keto or at very least keeping sugar way down, and being pretty much grain-free at this point. I think I've come to terms with that. I haven't craved bread or anything like that. I do miss some fries. And I'm also trimming down the vegetable oils and the seed oils by not eating out as much, by being careful of the foods I buy in the grocery store. You got to keep doing these things. You got to keep doing them. You'll eventually get there if you do, and I have. I've fallen off the horse plenty. I've fucked up plenty. I will fuck up again. I will have moments of weakness. I will have times where I go fucking drink, even though I'm trying to be sober. There are times when I might eat a sugary thing, even though I quit. Though I mentally now, I'm pretty much resistant to that. I'm like, because I'm so angry about the fact that of how much damage sugar does to us and how little people seem aware of it, or even if they are aware of it, they just don't give a fuck. They do it anyway. And, and that angers me about it. It triggers me. And because it triggers me, I have no desire to eat sugar right now for that reason. There are some sugars in some of the foods I eat, but they're so small in amount. We're talking maybe 8 or 9 calories worth in some things, It's, it's to that point of getting that out. And New Year's resolutions. Let me talk a little bit about that, because I do have one. Only one. And that's going to be to reduce my addiction to artificial sweeteners. I feel like I overdo it. I put sometimes 2 of those motherfuckers in a cup of coffee. And I think that I could get by with 1. And basically cut my usage of artificial sweetener in half. Maybe at some point I'll do a couple of fasts from it, as in no artificial sweetener in my diet, and that including processed foods or baked goods that contain it, which will eliminate pretty much all non-fruit sweetness from the diet, and I'll be forced to have some berries as a form of sweetness, which contains real sugar, but, not enough to really fuck with you. And maybe not enough to spike the dopamine. If that leads to depression and misery, then, or for me wanting sweet things to the point where I'm considering sugar again, then I'll up the artificial sweetener. But I think occasionally I should just take breaks from it and see how long I can go before I, do little fasts. Applying the techniques of fasting to other areas of our life, financial fasting. See how long you can go without spending any money at all. Obviously you got to pay your bills, but I'm talking about, going out and buying coffee or, running out and spending money on movie, or, you know, how long can you go, and how can you fulfill your time that you're going to free up with other things? Concepts like that I'm going to be exploring in the coming year. I'm experimenting a little with it now in my personal finances, and we can get into that in another video. But I am definitely learning a lot in the terms of minimalism. I'm reading the book, Your Money or Your Life, that was given generously to me through the mailing address, which is in the description if you are of like mind to send shit. So just get back on the horse and see what you can do. I mean, don't give up. And I'm in a frame of mind right now where giving up would be easy. And what's keeping me going is knowing that you guys are depending on me to put out these coaching videos, to put out the information I come across in my research, to see the results of my self-experimentation, to go out and find information about the things I'm trying on your own, to learn, to expand your knowledge of how your body really works and empower you to control it. You know, I know that a lot of you are relying on me, and you've told me over and over again in comments, messages, emails. A lot of you are contributing to the channel to keep it going so that I can focus on this. And I'm doing the best I can to give you as much time as I can. I haven't worked Uber in a few weeks in favor of working for the channel. And part of that is financial fasting at work too. So that's where I'm at. Don't give up. You know, I'm miserable as fuck right now, and I'm not giving up. I'm too stubborn. I'm too pissed off at the way things are in the world to just throw up my hands and be like, fuck it, time to eat whatever fuck I want to eat. Tired of it. I'll just let the medical world take care of me. They'll fix me. They'll give me the pills. And some people take it to a darker place, that they don't care when they die. They don't care how they die. They just want to be happy while they're here. And we all know, if you're watching this and you're doing these things, you know that the happiness behind sugar and carbs is an illusion. It's momentary. It's fleeting. It gives you maybe an hour or two of pleasure, followed by tons of feeling like shit and misery and stress and depression and withdrawal and reward-seeking behavior and you know, all of this crap that stems from these addictions. And we have multiple addictions in today's society on every level. And I've been fighting and experimenting with that. Clearly, I addiction transferred from sugar to artificial sweeteners, which is having consequences, as you saw from part of the weight regain. It'll be interesting. I'm not done with this experiment. There will be another fat fast starting, 7 days, starting on the 1st, and then followed by another week of normal eating, preferably without any of the keto frankenfoods out there. And I'll try and make sure that that doesn't happen. Just going back to my normal keto eating routine full-time for the week following that during the refeed. I want to have a couple of these experiments under my belt before I can say one way or another if the fat fast is worth your time. So that's where we're at with that. One last thing. Oh, shit. One last thing I wanted to share. Finally got another piece of mail through the address below. Somebody sent me a Christmas card. Says, heard you made the naughty list. And shit. I don't think it says and shit. I might have improvised that a little. Nice work. Oh, and Merry Christmas. And then below, keep up the great work, Scott. I follow the science and minimalism is in my future. Proud Patreon sponsor, Sherry. So thank you, Sherry, for sending the card. And, if you guys want to send things, I'll try and bring them on the air and talk about them. So far I've only received 2 pieces of mail, the book and that card. So it is what it is. If you sent something and I didn't get it, let me know. Because I kind of wonder, because there's been days where I don't get any mail in that mailbox. So there's that. Remember, I'm not a fucking expert, as I'm clearly demonstrating with this weight regain. I'm just an asshole. Do your research, find out for yourself, experiment on the things that you find compelling in the research, see what they do and don't do for you. If they're working, there's no reason to change it up. Stick with what's working. When it stops working, try other things, other protocols, other ways of eating. Experiment. And you'll figure out very quickly what works and what doesn't work for you. That's where I'm at. I've done a lot of self-experimentation over the past 3 years. I know what works. I know what doesn't work. I know that going to the gym is a waste of fucking time for me. I know that if I'm eating the standard American diet, my weight's going to just creep up and up and up nonstop. I know that if I drink, I'm a fucking prick. I know that I got things that have given the same results over and over again, enough to that I can draw that conclusion. So if you're doing something and it's working, chances are you're onto something there. Look more into it, read into it, so on and so forth. If you like my shit and you want me to make more shit, please like and subscribe and watch. I think that's the formula. There's also a little fucking bell that people keep reminding me to tell everyone about. That'll let you know when I post new shit on YouTube. Or you could just go to ScottTheTruckDriver.com and keep track of everything I'm doing there. That's my new hub. If you feel that, there's some monetary value to the work I put into this channel and the research I do and the coaching I do on here, there is a tip jar. Links in the description below on ScottTheTruckDriver.com. It goes through PayPal and all of that. So that's basically if you want to help support the channel so that I can spend more time making videos and less time doing other things. That's what that is for. There are things coming up in the future on ScottTheTruckDriver.com. I'm currently working on kind of an idea of a podcast that is behind the paywall, just to give a little bit extra for people who want to contribute to the channel. And then instead of just tipping, they could just go and get that podcast and get something in return for helping support the channel. And that's kind of what I'm looking at there. I want to be able to give back to those who are helping keep these videos coming and keep me able to do this work as much as I have been. So thank you guys who are contributing. I did update the credits on this video, although I think I got a few new ones that didn't make it into the credits. So if you don't see your name and you contributed in the credits, it's because I just haven't gotten to update it yet. I do have to manually update that as it stands right now. There might be a better way of doing it, but for the most part, that's how I'm doing it for now. Pretty much I've decided everyone that contributes, that wants, to contribute to the channel deserves credit, on the months that they contribute. So every month the credits will change. Right now we're seeing December's credits now, and I'll leave those up for the first week or two of January. And then as the January contributions come in, the credits will be changed over to January to kind of keep everything up and running and give you an idea. If you contribute earlier in the month, you'll be in more credits for videos than if you contribute like the last day of the month. So, and don't give up. Get back on the fucking horse, and sooner or later you'll ride that motherfucker longer than you did last time. And you might actually get where you're fucking going. Eventually. Have a nice motherfucking day. And shit. And I realize I didn't do the green screen shit today. And, basically I'm saving myself an hour of pain in this fucking chair editing green screen work. So I went back to my old setup for this video because it's pretty easy to set up. And my old camera, because that's also pretty easy to set up. Don't worry, I will get back to the higher video quality with the awesome backgrounds, and my photography is backgrounds quite a bit. Probably in the new year, because this might take a few weeks for me to recover from this pulling my back out shit. Which sucks. Hopefully I get some normal sleep too soon, because this is bullshit. And shit.